All right, for those returning to the Animaga Society from our first episode, we really appreciate it. But welcome to episode two. We're down on a host, but we have four very dedicated and willing people here who are ready for this next episode. Um, Today, we will be discussing Naruto, at least up until the end of the tuning exams. Uh, with me, Jim Bob Joe, is Jay Z.
Hello.
We got Lagozo over there,
Hola.
and the Retsu joining us again as well.
How's it going, guys?
So, I mean, let's really just dive right into this, guys. We've all seen Naruto. Lagozo, I know this is one of the ones that you essentially have watched quite a few times, correct?
Naruto was the first anime I ever watched, especially in completion.
Okay.
I remember I was like 7, 8, or 9, because I wasn't really allowed to watch anime growing up. But I one night saw it on Adult Swim, and I think it was in the Land of Waves arc. I didn't know what that was at the time, and seeing Zabuza just absolutely destroy people, that was the first thing I ever saw for anime, and I freaking fell in love with it. But I was not allowed to watch it as a kid, so I finally got to watch it in high school, college era, and it's hands down my favorite anime of all time, with obviously Shippuden included in there. Like,
Okay.
I'd
So go ahead.
I'd imagine a lot of people in your age range that was also their first anime.
mm-hmm.
Correct.
It's
I-
just so good.
I actually originally skipped Naruto and went straight to Shippuden because my friends told me it was most of Naruto was covered in flashbacks, which it kind of was, but I still went back and watched it.
I would say it's worth it. I'm in the middle of a rewatch again just because it's awesome. But starting off, you have the beginning where you first get introduced to Naruto being, essentially just a troublemaker and an outcast, and they really don't 100% explain why. You see him going through and struggling in the ninja school. He can't do, basic jutsu and things that other students are thriving in. So at first, I mean,
Graffitiing everything
oh yeah,
everywhere in those first couple episodes.
oh yeah. Uh,
It's just the trashing of the Hokage wall. Oh my god, I laughed so hard when I watched that the first time. I'm like, what is he doing?
I'll just never get over the section where he's being chased by the ninja and he just like holds up like a sheet that looks like the fence and is hiding behind it.
Such a great hidden, not hidden detail, but like just such a great way to like hide in an anime, because it's goofy as all hell, but not like, it's not so goofy it's excessive. It makes you laugh like that. Like
Mhm.
the original Naruto series, even though it's fairly violent. I mean, you expect that from an anime like that, but it's very like and I don't want to say kid friendly, but like tween anime, I feel like. I mean,
A lot
we
of
were probably
goofy
10,
moments.
11 first time watching it, some of us, so
Naruto's laugh gets me every time, man.
Right.
Dude, I will. I have to say though, like, I will never get over Believe It. It like just makes me cringe every time he says it. Because there are
Yeah.
times
that's my ninja way. Believe it.
my Nindo.
No.
But they create all those emotions right off the bat, and then obviously, right after they introduce those emotions, the next thing you move into is Mizuki, who is supposed to be, a higher level ninja, somebody who is, claims he's trying to help Naruto get stronger, and he tricks him into stealing the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
And then and he decided to read it, and I actually don't remember this, and this is should be really fresh in my head. did he get told to learn something out of it, or
No, so
That's
Mizuki,
one
if I
part.
and again, this is what I'm just double checking. I do have it pulled up here a little bit. Um, Mizuki had him steal it because he said it was going to make him a better ninja or something
Mhm.
like that. But
Something like that,
the scroll is full of like illegal jutsu
forbidden
or
jutsus.
forbidden jutsu. That's what it is.
Yep.
One of them, funnily enough, because I looked this up one time, actually being the shadow clone jutsu is considered a forbidden jutsu,
Mm-hmm.
which is hilarious because like everybody and their freaking mom in that show knows that jutsu.
No, actually,
th-
most aren't using shadow clone jutsu. They're just using some sort of clone jutsu.
Yeah,
There's a couple of people like Kakashi who uses shadow clone jutsu, but
it's because
I thought there was a
it's-
bunch more in there.
it's very complex on how the shadow clones are actually made. You split your chakra evenly, which is very dangerous because if
Mhm.
you can't keep tabs on your chakra reserves, you could end up killing yourself. That's why it's forbidden.
correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So most I know was a forbidden jutsu. I didn't know that much into it, but that's interesting.
Which it speaks volumes to how much
Chakra
chakra
Naruto
Naruto
has.
And,
I was about to say,
he has
then-
insane amounts.
Yeah, like not trying to jump ahead to Shippuden right now, but like when he's training with
Right.
stuff and he can use them for making his training go faster.
Well,
That's
in
really
the
cool.
it's super cool. But in the fight with Mizuki, he literally makes like 100 of them or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
an absurd amount.
I will never.
Naruto Uzumaki Barrage.
Mm-hmm.
We're jumping into now. We're jumping into the tuning exams. But
I thought he used the Uzumaki Barrage on Mizuki.
I don't think he
No.
named it that. He
No.
named it the Uzumaki Barrage because of Lion's Barrage, which is Sasuke's move.
correct.
That's
That
right.
happens in the tuning exams.
Correct.
But
And I do apologize. I am eating some cookies while we're recording right now because I'm absolutely starving.
I will never not be able to unsee if you haven't seen any of the versions of Naruto abridged. In the scene where Naruto first uses the multi-shadow clone jutsu, and there's just 100 of however many there are, it like shows Iruka going into his thoughts, and it's like, oh my gosh, he summoned all the Naruto cosplayers within a 200-mile radius.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I have not watched any of the abridged stuff just because I don't know. It felt awkward watching that compared to just standard Naruto. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I will say Dragon Ball Z abridged is probably my favorite, but like there's a couple of really good Naruto abridged that are pretty awesome.
The Yu-Gi-Oh one's really good too.
Those people are pretty creative. I can't lie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they come up
Maybe
with
we
some
need to do an
random
episode
stuff.
just on abridged stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Helsing. Helsing Abridged was really good too.
I
I don't know if you guys have seen there's an Attack on Titan one. It's really good. I think it's called Slap on Titan. It's pretty good too. It's really funny.
Oh my god. But yeah, so after we see the Shadow Clone Jutsu get used, Naruto ends up getting Iruka's headband, and he ends up passing his ninja exam.
He does not get Aruka's headband. Aruka does not give him
I-
the headband. He gives him Naruto gets his headband himself,
own,
not
yeah.
Iruka's.
So he does end up getting his own, but Iruka puts his on Naruto for that moment.
Like right after that scene, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless Iruka actually gave it to him, which they never actually, because you hear Naruto at one point say that Iruka gave.
Can I try on your headband?
Well, that
Because if I
but-
remember right, they're in Ichiraku and he tells him no.
correct, and then after he uses the multi Shadow Clone Jutsu and defeats Mizuki, he takes his off and puts it on Naruto.
Oh, okay. Apparently, I should have rewatched this.
It's,
enough,
I mean,
that's-
it's a minute detail, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's even like the final exam for the graduating academy too, making one single clone, and he
mhm.
happens to make hundreds.
well, and
Mhm.
instead of making shadow clones, he just makes very attractive women who are quite.
But that's just him. He just
Yeah.
changes. It's just
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah,
jutsu,
exactly. He just uses that instead.
Which he's very good at.
Right.
Until later on when he messes with Ebisu.
Oh, yeah. So good. But then you see the formation of all the squads. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are on Squad 7. I don't remember all the other squads, but I do remember Squad 7 is them. And then
I could probably name you
I
the
remember
other
who's
members of
in
each
the
squad, but I can't
squads.
give you their squad numbers.
Correct. I don't remember the numbers. I remember the people.
correct. But then
Because the obvious one with that is Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. Because Ino Shikacho. You have what 10-10, Rock Lee, and Neji.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
they're a year ahead. But I mean, they're still
Yeah.
one of the teams. But yeah,
What Hinata?
Hinata.
Hinata, Shino, and
Shino,
Kiba.
Yeah,
Kiba. I wanted to say Kiba. I kept thinking Akamaru. I'm like, that's his dog. That's not his name.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's dude. I will admit, like, just touching on them as people. Shino is a genius.
Mhm.
Oh God, yes.
Shino
Like,
is. I honestly think that he has one of the coolest, like, underrated powers.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
easily. He
Like-
messes some people up with the
Oh, yeah.
bugs. Like it
His
like of all of the like different specialties that everybody has, like his scares me the most because like he could make bugs like just eat you from the inside out and
Right.
you would never know it.
well, his clan is feared by other villages more than most clans
Oh yeah.
because
Mhm.
of that.
Like, think
Which
about
is
like
funny
being able
that-
to just send, like, you could just have your whole clan just sit outside of the base or the fortress or whatever and just send in
Mhm.
bugs.
Yeah,
Like that's scary, dude. That like bugs freak me out just a little bit, but like if I saw a cloud of them coming at me, dude, I'm running as fast as I can.
Right.
Like that's some scary crap.
he's-
Like oh my
he's-
god.
He's super good for being sensory, for tracking, for
Mm-hmm.
It has so many
just anything.
applications.
Yeah,
He can even suck your chakra out with it.
he could. Yeah, he could basically be a whole team by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. He's also like one of the few people in the entire show, I think, to like really never be defeated. From
Not
what I remember, like he doesn't. I don't think he loses a single match against anybody in that show.
not that I remember. I know he beats
Yeah, I don't-
Konkuro. He beats Konkuro. We'll get to all that in a minute, but
Yeah, we'll get to all that. But anyway,
so after the squads are formed, they meet Kakashi Sensei, and they do their next
the
test,
bell exercise.
Correct.
Mr. Worldwide,
Ah.
baby.
which actually, as you come to learn, was created either I can't remember if it was created, but it was definitely also used by the third Hokage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
third Hokage created it.
Yep. So that's a really, really in-depth exercise that, it does test a lot more than just your ability to fight. It shows like a lot of like honoring yourself,
Mhm.
making sure that you respect your teammates. You really do have to work together.
It basically teaches them teamwork.
Correct.
Like I mean, you can't succeed in the ninja world without your fellow people beside you, no matter who they are. And again, we see that later on in the show, and that'll be discussion for another day. But just that beginning arc, like going back and rewatching it after watching the show like through the first time and watching it again after finishing like Shippuden, you really see why that lesson early on was very important to all of them. Because at this point in the show, Naruto has been by himself his entire life.
Yeah.
So, like, he doesn't know how to be a part of a team, and Sasuke and Sakura show him that essentially they are now a family, even if they don't want to be right now. They have to be.
Mhm.
Well, and that goes into, when Naruto gets caught trying to steal all the lunches,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mhm.
he gets tied up, and then Sasuke ends up realizing, at the end of the day, we need Naruto in peak condition as much as possible. So even though we're not supposed to give him anything, we kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I also
So
like Kakashi's take on the bell test. He will literally not accept you as a team at all unless you can be a team.
Right.
Unlike the third or Jiraiya or Minato. They
well, because
they-
they show that Naruto or like Kakashi like barely passes anybody when they look
Mhm.
at his acceptance rate.
Mhm.
I don't think he had passed a single person.
Yeah, he hadn't
Think
passed a
right.
single.
No, he never.
Yeah, he hadn't
yeah.
passed a single team until then. because they're the only ones that actually shared with their fellow teammate of the person who failed.
I think those type of teachers are the best type of teachers.
Oh God,
that-
yes.
Yeah, they only want they won't risk their students' lives if they're not gonna be able to perform the way they should perform.
Right.
So yeah, after the bell test, which they didn't end up actually getting any, but Sasuke did touch one.
Oh, although we got to talk about Kakashi's #1 jutsu.
Oh
Oh,
God.
the 1,000 years of pain.
1,000 years of death.
Oh yeah, 1,000 years of
1,000
death.
years of
Yeah.
death.
Like that, dude. That jutsu
It's
is
become
just
such a
absolutely
meme.
hilarious because he's always reading his freaking book.
But you know what that is, right?
Yeah, we find. Yeah, you
Jiraiya's
find out
book.
later. It's
Yeah.
Jiraiya's book, and it's
Make out paradise, baby.
it's smut essentially. Like that's the
Yeah.
funniest
Mhm.
part is he's literally just sitting there training people while reading smut, and yeah, Naruto's going to steal the freaking lunches, and oh my God, he just shows up at 1,000 Years of Death Sim. Oh my God,
so fantastic. Oh, it's become such a meme.
it really
There,
has.
there are other times in the series, and even in Shippuden, where it looks like he's gonna do it, and then it's not actually it, which I think is awesome as well.
After they graduate, they just do like a bunch of little like missions of like, oh, your mission today is I need you to go weed the the park.
Or catch
Or-
a cat.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
the cat's up in the tree. Got to go get it.
Well, of course, Naruto just keeps getting attacked by the cats.
But they always got returned to the owner.
right. They did. The one cat looks like super freaked out whenever it gets handed back.
Oh my
So
God.
funny. Well, and then finally, Naruto is just like, I've had enough, and I want to prove to you, all this. Like, I really need to, go on a real mission. These aren't real ninja missions, and it finally goes through that, they're gonna end up going to the Land of Waves, that's the first arc that you watched.
That's
Oh,
I saw a single episode of that arc when I was younger.
Okay.
That's all I saw was like the end of it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, so like the bloodiest part of that. But yeah, they're going to transport the
Yeah, it's an escort mission.
Yeah, it's an escort mission to
Taking the bridge builder.
Yeah, the bridge builder to the Land of Waves to complete a bridge that what was that? Gato, the main
Mhm.
villain of it, Gato was like trying to stop them from building because it would disrupt his trade or something like that, or his monopoly on the land.
Yeah. Which, they start moving through as soon as they leave with the bridge builder, they are going through, and then they get surprised by the I can't even really
hit and miss ninja.
The
Yeah, I
demon-
was going to say like
The demon of the
I was going to
mist.
say I was trying to figure out how to like describe them, and like the fact of like
No, it wasn't.
the-
It wasn't.
Are you talking
Zabuza
about
yet.
the
No. It's
the
like
twins?
the black jumpsuit like
Yeah, I think they're like I don't know, they're like brothers or something. That's how I always thought of it, even though like they might not actually be. I always thought that they
Right.
were like identical.
Well, and like that goes to start showing like Kakashi's expertise too, because he sees the puddle on the ground and he was like, it hasn't rained, like there shouldn't be anything there. So his suspicion level rose instantly on just such a minute detail. I think that's actually a really, really cool thing that they showed how observant Kakashi is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a textbook definition of what a ninja should be. Like he
Exactly.
uses excels in every category that a ninja should excel in. Like
Right.
that's why he was
Absolutely.
part of the Anbu.
As soon as that's over, Kakashi ends up defeating those two, and then right afterwards, of course, Naruto's competitive streak comes out because he didn't do anything during that fight. Like he got jumped at and he froze.
He got stabbed.
now-
So I'm reading back through some of what happened. He got stabbed with a poisonous kunai.
Yeah, poisonous kunai.
Or no, he got hit by something poisonous. Yeah, poisonous metal gauntlets, and Naruto calls him a scaredy cat. Where it's like, "What are you gonna do, scaredy cat?" Something to that effect.
Yep.
Because then you see
Yeah.
Naruto like pull out his own kunai and stab his arm and like cut it out. I
Mhm.
remember that now.
Because he essentially was trying to stop the poison spreading, which
Mhm.
Kakashi had told him, like, you're gonna have to, you know, do this. But Kakashi's like, yeah, but now you're losing like too much blood, so now you might die.
Yeah. But in the aftermath of that, like Kakashi, it's like super pissed too at the bridge builder whose name
Oh yeah,
is Tazuna.
yeah,
It finally explains what's going on in the Land of Waves, and it just like going in with such little information is so frustrating. And I mean, so all four of us, we are coworkers and former coworkers, and we all run into this all day long at our job with little to no information on stuff, and it's the most frustrating thing ever. So I understand Kakashi's frustration at this point for being kept in the
Mhm.
dark for so long for no reason, and they're being
Well,
attacked
and
on what should be a simple C rank mission that just turned B or A with that.
correct. Which they also talk about the fact that, you know, he says that they would have been billed accordingly for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they talked about they couldn't really afford to pay for A rank ninja,
Mm-hmm.
but they needed to get this done. Which Kakashi then ends up saying, "We'll finish the mission anyway." But he does kind of stress to the bridge builder in that moment of like, "Hey, we could just leave you here."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, and Kakashi does tell him, you know, we are going to be keeping more, like, I'm going to be watching you. And then before they even get to the village, they run into Zabuza.
Mm-hmm. That's
So, you know, Zabuza makes his big grand appearance with the sword on the tree, and Zabuza standing on it.
Demon of the Mist, baby.
Yes, sir.
Such a good villain.
Oh yeah.
Even though, like, we know how it ends. Like, he just teaches the cast so much right off the rip.
Right.
Like, this world is cruel, and if you aren't strong, you will die. There's no stopping that, unless you're Naruto. But essentially, yeah. I also like all the choreography that goes into the play while they are fighting Zabuza, and the creative mind of Sasuke Uchiha.
Oh, that first fight with Zabuza it's so freaking cool too, and it's like barely into what like any of the ninja can do.
Oh yeah.
I also love whenever like even Zabuza is smart enough to eventually figure out like how is he able to copy my jutsu.
I was just thinking about that. So like Kakashi's known
Yeah.
as the copy ninja,
Mm-hmm.
Or Mr. Worldwide.
That's the one thing I found really cool in that fight, especially is when Zabuza realizes that Kakashi's not copying him, but that Zabuza's copying Kakashi. Kakashi knows exactly what he's going to do before Zabuza even knows it.
And he only needs to see things one time to know exactly how to do it. Sharingan is so broken. I cannot lie.
Well, he hasn't even shown off the Sharingan at this point.
Well, my bad. I was thinking about later. In this fight, he does show that like Zabuza is about like while Zabuza is doing his hand signs, Kakashi, like, since the Sharingan is so accurate, he can predict the hand signs he is going to do and copy the jutsu based off of that, like just a second before he does.
But at this point, we don't see he does. We don't know he has Sharingan though.
Well, after
in that first fight, we don't.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he
yes,
takes his
yes,
eye
you
off.
do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he takes his.
That's like one of the first thing that happens.
Yeah, he takes his headband off, and then he starts talking about the Sharingan. And then what happens is something happens a little bit later, and then Naruto and Sasuke have to go in, and then he starts explaining that he probably shouldn't underestimate him because Sasuke also has the potential to be able to use the Sharingan.
Well, because
like, oh my god, I actually have to try.
In that fight, they both use the
water dragon.
Yeah, the water dragon jutsu, and because that was when Kakashi is mimicking Zabuza. That's also in the point where they both use water clones because Kakashi ends up copying the water clone jutsu from Zabuza. That's also where Zabuza traps Kakashi in a water sphere.
Oh yeah, he does. And dang, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
The water prison jutsu.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that was when Kakashi for the first time learned the water dragon jutsu, because he is staring at his hands and doing the hand signs slightly before him because he can guess what they're going to be because of how broken the Sharingan is.
Because there's a moment in like the fight where Sakura ends up getting like slightly frustrated, and she's like, everyone just keeps saying Sharingan, Sharingan, but I like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
And then like Sasuke takes a moment to like try and explain, and he also explains specifically, this is a very key moment, is that trait only appears in members of Sasuke's clan, the Uchiha clan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even
So-
rare then. It's even rare in the clan. Not everyone
Right.
can have it.
Yeah, they're not all running around with Sharingans.
Or else they would easily
Well,
destroy.
They're not all running around anymore anyway.
Rip.
That's
I want to apologize to you guys. I was wrong on that one. I thought he hadn't shown that
Oh,
off until the big fight.
No,
he noticed, or he recognized Zabuza as a real threat right away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and at the end of that fight, after Zabuza has finally been cornered because Naruto and Sasuke end up getting getting them off track enough to where the water sphere gets broken.
Because again, Naruto is really good at transformation jutsu.
Correct.
I was about to say
So-
that was when they did the big shuriken switch,
Yep.
the double
That move
shuriken,
is
which
so iconic.
that's one of the coolest. Again, and I know I keep bringing up like cool stuff in this first season or this first arc, but like when you see that like shuriken like open up, like that thing is just sweet.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
the big shuriken that Sasuke uses, which
Mhm.
that is like one of those things. That's another one of those moments where they show you that Naruto is actually a very good strategist. But I think this also goes into a lot of other animes at the time where the main character's power and almost like their battle sense is heightened by emotion.
Mhm.
Right.
It's like I know I'm going to use this anime as an example all the time, but it's my favorite and it just has everything. But like in like Yusuke's case in Yu Yu Hakusho, like if you kill one of his friends or threaten one of his friends is when his power like takes off, and you see him go from a brawler who basically just overpowers most people to a actual military strategist. Like you see that kind of stuff happen with like Goku and Dragon Ball Z, of like, Goku's normally just stronger,
Mhm.
but there becomes a point where he actually needs to, really just take a little bit of strategy into it.
This too is
But-
like the first point where it really shows that Naruto and Sasuke make a really like badass team together. Like they work really, really well together, even though they don't care for each other at this point. They just don't realize it yet.
Right.
And like I feel, and I mean, we all know how the show ends and like what happens between them and stuff. But we'll get into that later. I feel if this show would have went a different route where like where Sasuke would not have left and done all that stuff and
Mhm.
just stayed and like been like right next to Naruto the whole time, those two would have hands down like been Hokage and right hand man right at the same time. The only difference
Maybe.
is who would actually be the Hokage in that sense, because I feel it would have been Sasuke, but just because
Maybe.
I like Naruto.
He's just overall smarter.
Yeah,
That's really
Sasuke's
it, yeah.
overall smarter, and I feel he would have been better. But Naruto has the fight sense to him. So I feel if Sasuke would not have left, that would have been a better.
But at the same time, Naruto's got the charisma that the Kage needs.
Yeah,
A lot of the times, pretty much every Kage has had a shadow Kage, and that person is usually the smarter one.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even like a
Um,
right hand man that's a genius as well.
Right.
Correct.
Or you have both.
Just to step back a little bit too, whenever we get to once Kakashi ends up getting broken out of the water barrier and everything is kind of coming to the close of what you think this battle is, Haku shows up, and Haku throws I can't remember what the name of them are, but they're like these like they're based on surgical needles.
Mm-hmm.
What is the word? They have a name. I can't remember it right now.
Senbons.
Senbon.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So and they hit Zabuza in like really specific vital points,
Mm-hmm.
and it incapacitates him and basically like puts him out. And Kakashi ends up, with the use of the Sharingan and everything else, he knew he was kind of like at his end for that battle anyway. So it was like he trusted Haku at first
Well, that's
that
because like
Because
he
Haku
his.
was wearing a mist
right
Mhm.
a
headband.
specifically a tracker mask, which are
Correct.
it's like a high level mist ninja coming for Zabuza would not actually be like unheard of.
Mhm.
Right.
So he let that pass, and then once they get to the land of waves and get into the village, you meet Tanzuda's family, and they end up staying there for a little while because Kakashi needs to rest, and they're trying to, obviously get the bridge moving.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Um,
it's awesome that each nation has their own bingo book, and then they all share a collective bingo book of rogue ninjas.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
in Zabuza's bingo book, Kakashi is in it. Like
right.
this guy,
Mhm.
you be warned, he will kill you if you fight him potentially. And they, like, as like a whole world building, they have the rogue ninja bingo book, which
Mm-hmm.
is the worst threats of the threats.
You meet one big thing that ends up coming out is Inari, um, the child who is living with Tanzuna, and which is they say it's his grandson.
Mhm.
And the mom lives there, but they mentioned that he never met his never met his real father,
Mhm.
but he meets a guy in the
Kaiza.
village because yeah, he's a he's a traveler. These kids like throw Inari's dog into the water, and Inari like can't swim, so and the dog can't swim at the moment. So the kids end up pushing him in, calling him a coward for not rescuing the dog, and then the dog ends up learning to doggy paddle, and Inari ends up getting saved by Kaizo, and then that leads off into he ends up staying in the village instead of leaving, and he becomes like a big inspiration and like a kind of like a white light for the village.
Yeah, he becomes a white. Yeah, he also essentially becomes like Inari's father, who because
Correct.
he like adopts him in a sense, but not like officially.
Yeah, not like in a legal sense, but like a
Mm-hmm.
almost like a morality sense.
Mm-hmm. And like things are going really well for the village at that point, and then Gato shows up, and just stuff goes downhill from there.
Correct. And he ends up actually getting like just tortured and killed. Really is what happens.
He gets tortured in front of everybody and then just executed.
Correct.
Like there's no, it's brutal. And I mean, like again, this is a show that I was like, oh, this is fun to watch for a kid. And then I'm like, oh, this is messed up.
Yeah, they do throw
Like,
a lot of adult themes in here.
oh yeah, this is, uh, it's so violent, but it's so good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, like that part, like it screwed with me for a little while, especially like when I was first watching it, like through, and I'm like he didn't really do anything wrong, and they just killed him all because he was standing up to them and not wanting him to take over their village and make it like production town or what am I trying to think of, like a mining town or something, like industrialize it.
Yeah, it should open up like trade and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But during the period where Kakashi is resting after using the Sharingan, this is a big moment where Naruto and Sasuke are really pushing each other because they're training. They're using the tree climbing technique.
Mm-hmm. Learning chakra control.
Correct. Yeah, this is a big moment for like them learning how to really get a handle on their chakra and use it appropriately.
Well, it was meant to teach all three of them, but as per usual, Sakura just walked up the tree with no issue.
Well, yeah,
Right.
Konoichis have better chakra control because they normally are the medical ninjas of the team. That's just how things were at the time.
Yeah,
back
but
then.
Sakura also just has the best chakra control out of anybody.
Sakura was a master of her chakra control at like probably such a young age. Like it's never talked about, but she probably, when she first started school, she probably had that mastered at the age of like 8, and they're like 10 when the show starts.
I think it's crazy that people can enter the academy at any age.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I find that like you would think that there would be like at least an age limit, but there are other characters in the series that entered at like 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's like
Itachi
what?
was the leader of the Anbu Black Ops by
At the age of
13.
He was a captain, yeah.
Yeah, but he graduated. I think he was the youngest person in history to ever graduate.
Yeah, he
He's
graduated.
like the youngest person to do most things.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
graduated the academy at like 10, and then was captain on the Anbu at like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in the show, even though we have not seen him yet, he's like, I think he's only like 18 or 19 in it. Like
Yeah,
he's
something like
he's
that.
Because he's barely
he's
older than
young.
Sasuke. Because he was a toddler whenever Sasuke was born.
Mhm.
So
yeah.
well, not like a toddler, but probably like 3 or 4. If he's able to hold Sasuke, I would assume he's 3 or 4.
But yeah, that's they do show that Naruto and Sasuke both end up being able to climb all the way up to the top of the tree. It's like for a couple days there, they're just like they're running as high as they can, and then you know,
That was the first episode I ever saw of Naruto. By the way, it was them running up the tree.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, mine was in like the Land of Waves arc. Those where I started.
Mine are none of those. I watched a
Where'd you-
single fight and I was like, "That is
You
those are
watched
the
a Boruto fight.
yeah." Well, it's a phenomenal
Because he a
fight.
baby.
Like this was before I even watched anime, and I saw Naruto and Sasuke fighting. I was like, "Whatever they're doing is so cool and so badass that I gotta go and watch this." Like within minutes, I was watching the first episode.
That's awesome. Dedication to the cause.
Yeah.
Well, and especially if that's like
Like I had never like I obviously knew what anime was at the time and that like Naruto was iconic because like I had even heard of Naruto as someone who'd never
Right.
seen a single anime ever. And the fact that just watching them fight as adults made me want to watch and like see how they got there speaks for itself.
So I just
right. Well, and
I just looked it up
Naruto
here,
is kind
and,
of
Sasuke graduated the academy at the age of 12. So at this point, he is probably 11 or 12 because the graduation comes not long after.
How does like didn't Naruto fail 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I think it's crazy that he even went into the academy before Sasuke did.
Right.
Which means which I was right in just standard Naruto at this current point, Itachi would be like 17, and he graduated the academy at the age of 7.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a whole big like moral, like or not moral, like internal monologue where like Sasuke is talking about how by the time that he graduated from the academy, like Itachi was already so much farther ahead of him. So
Mhm.
you know he's always thinking about it, and they even bring it up during the first introduction with Kakashi. Naruto explains he's going to become Hokage. He loves ramen. They saw
Me too.
Sakura introduces her, right? Sakura does her introduction. Sasuke does his introduction, and he pretty much just says that he's just trying to get stronger to
Defeat.
eventually.
I think it's defeat his
Defeat a
brother.
certain someone.
Yeah.
Yep,
is
exactly.
What he says.
My name
So-
is Sasuke Uchiha.
His internal hatred for his brother is shown like really, really, really early on within the
Mhm.
show.
But yeah, so they go back to Tazuna's house to heal up because Kakashi has the crap beat out of him.
Yep, and then they do the tree climbing training, and there's a lot of discussion with Inari about being what a hero is, because that's when you start really going into stuff about his father,
Mm-hmm.
and then once all of that is done, that's when kind of Kakashi comes to the realization that Haku was actually helping Zabuza, not like hurting him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he started to realize, like, well, this is how it was approached. This was the execution. So he realizes that Zabuza's still out there, and then they have right after this is when the big fight on the bridge starts to occur. Which there's multiple fights going on within this like time section, because you have Naruto ends up getting into a fight with some criminals with Inari, and at the same time, Sasuke is fighting. Oh, I actually missed something. During this time, also, Naruto is out training and runs into Haku.
Mm-hmm.
And Haku actually has a moment where he could have killed Naruto. He almost did. Like he kind of had his hands up towards his neck, and instead he woke up Naruto. And they end up having a very big bonding moment where, that's where they start to show Haku's inner motives of how highly he thinks of Zabuza and how much he wants to drive Zabuza's dream.
And then tells Naruto that he's a he.
Right, exactly, because Naruto thinks. I mean, to be fair, the first time I watched it, I thought I thought Haku was a woman. So
everyone does. Yeah. The voice and everything like doesn't help it with the pink, the pink kimono that he's wearing.
Oh yeah.
So and it's probably not a kimono, but I don't know what else it would be off the top of my head. I'd have to do some research into that, but that's what I'm going with for right now because it describes what we're looking at.
Correct.
But yeah, like they get to do the fight on the bridge after all of that because they're transporting Tazuna to get to the point of finishing the bridge. And I can't remember, do they run into Zabuza first or do they run into Gato?
They run into to Zabuza and Haku first. And that's kind of like where they have like a little bit of a standoff because Sasuke ends up getting into a fight with Haku, and Zabuza and Kakashi are in like a standoff because if either one goes to progress, they'll get stopped because Zabuza can't help Haku in his fight with Sasuke because then Kakashi will intervene. Kakashi can't go over and help Sasuke because Zabuza will intervene, or he'll go attack the bridge builder.
At this point, too, on the bridge, it's just Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura. Naruto's back at the house, at Tazuna's house,
Correct.
Because Inari's, and I'm reading through some of this to remember what happened. Inari's mom got kidnapped by two of Gato's thugs, and Inari goes to try and fight them, and Naruto helps him out. Naruto congratulates Inari for being a hero and like protecting his family and stuff, and then joins the rest of them at the bridge, which that like happening causes such a great part that's coming up here soon, and I absolutely love it. So like on the bridge at this point, like Sasuke's in the fight with Haku, Kakashi's dealing with Zabuza, and Sakura's protecting Tazuna. And there's so much that happens all at once in these shows, and I love it. I love how they break up, like going in between everything.
Yeah, they were able to kind of bounce around and like really show you a lot all at once, which is super cool.
Like,
and that's after this moment, Inari starts going around to all the neighbors and starting to recruit them to basically do what his, quote unquote father, got like into the spirit of him and started like rallying the village people to stand against the criminals. Because right around this point,
mostly just to stand up to Gato and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
because at this point you would have already seen Gato and all of his thugs on the bridge, and they're threatening Zabuza to get the bridge builder, or all of his guys are going to attack him.
Yeah. So like going back to Sasuke's fight and stuff, like the mirror, like the mirror ball that Haku traps him in is absolutely cool. And I'm looking at this, and it's
I think it's his Kekkei Genkai.
Yeah,
right?
it's Haku's Kekkei Genkai, which that's
it's something with ice.
His is ice mirrors is what it's called.
Yeah,
but like
it's broken, dude.
Dude.
Well, so before that, they actually show that Haku can do hand signs with one hand.
Right.
So during this fight is when they show, Haku has his weapon, Sasuke has his kunai, and they're kind of in a standoff on like trying to overpower each other. And then Haku does hand signs with one hand, and he brings up all of the like ice needles.
That
stuff
is always fire, man. Seeing the one-handed signs mid-fight, it's so cool.
Oh yeah,
the hand signs period is so cool. They started getting away from it, especially in
Naruto
stuff, but yeah.
Well, what I find really cool is like in the beginning of this show, because it's still excuse me, so early on is you see them do the hand signs really slow, duh, duh. And like, I can't remember what exactly all of them are, but you see them do them really slow, or at least enough where they say them out loud. And as the show
Mhm.
progresses and stuff, like you see everyone get faster with it. Even Kakashi, they show him doing them really slow at the beginning of the show, but you get halfway through,
Except for
like,
when he's copying the dragon one, they're going fast.
well,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can't
but
even see what's
you
going
still
on
hear
in
him
that one.
saying the signs with it.
Right.
And later on, you see them doing it, and it's no longer just duh 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, like just super fast. And
Right.
then they cast their jutsu, and that's one of the things I find really cool about the show is you see the progression of the characters with that. You see the mastery of it.
And then you've got the main character whose only hand signs is this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no hand sign for Rasengan.
Mhm.
Which
Which-
kind of molt
that-
chakra.
It makes it that much better of a jutsu. A jutsu that does not
Oh, yeah,
require hand
absolutely.
signs requires
Absolutely.
pretty much no prep time. So you can just almost instantly cast it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that fight in the Kekkei Genkai of the ice mirrors is
Mm-hmm.
just
The battle of the Kekkei Genkais, man. Two of them
yeah,
go way
because
Yeah.
that's when Sasuke first unlocks his
Sharingan,
the first Sharingan dot. That's what I'm gonna call it.
one tome.
Yeah, the Tomes.
Unlucky for Haku.
Like it's very very cool, especially because you see that come out after Sasuke protects Naruto. Because like all the needle,
Mhm.
all the what were those needles called again, Jay-Z?
Senbon.
The Senbons are like headed towards him, ready to just obliterate him, and Sasuke takes all of them to the back. But when you see him turn around and you see that red in his eye, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
stuff's going down now. Like things just got
Mhm.
intense.
Yeah, because there's no way to keep up with Haku without it. Because
Mhm.
Haku moves so fast.
And even then, like, even with that, Sasuke still gets defeated and like essentially dies in this
Yeah,
first part.
that's how broken Haku is.
Yeah.
Which once Naruto shows up, the best part literally was all Naruto needed to do was break the mirrors from the outside, and he jumps inside the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like Naruto,
What are you doing, bro?
you
Well,
could have stopped this whole thing.
he's a
That's the
powerful
first
ninja
time
even
we-
at this point, but no one ever said he
Yeah.
was the brightest.
Not yet.
He uses
The
his
number one
Nine-Tails,
knucklehead
too.
ninja.
Exactly. But yeah, like getting to see the first use of the Nine Tails chakra to like fight
Like,
back against
shatter the
Hako
mirrors?
when he shattered the mirrors with it. Yeah. Absolutely overpowered. And of course he doesn't know what he's doing with it at that point. But you see him just absolutely destroy Haku with it. And I can't remember if Naruto is the one that ends up killing Haku in the end, or
I think Kakashi
Kakashi.
ends up killing him on accident.
yeah.
Because Zabuza and Kakashi end up getting in a fight, and Zabuza's arms are immobilized because he gets stabbed by Kakashi's kunai.
Yeah, which that's another really cool like weapon scene that you only ever see in this first part of Naruto is when Kakashi has the two kunai and he like is flipping them around in his hand before he throws them.
That's where all the girls started
Mhm.
liking him.
Like that's
Mhm.
that is hands down one of the again coolest weapon sections of the entire show. Like you see lots of different weapons get used even in like the movies and stuff, but like that one just the animation on that is just so well done that it's something that just lives in my mind rent free and it will forever.
Oh yeah. Right after his arms get immobilized, Naruto ends up standing up because, Haku just died and Zabuza is still showing, very little remorse for basically causing Haku's death. And Naruto kind of like drills it into him, that Haku is somebody who absolutely loved him, was somebody who really could, help him, and he used him, and it finally hit home, and he ends up asking for a kunai from Kakashi, and Kakashi ends up, giving it to him, and Zabuza literally fights his way through all of the, criminal guys, and
Well, Gato shows
And-
up with this like with his crew. Yeah, and like I
Yeah,
know that's
yeah.
what,
Yeah, that's who he's fighting. Yeah.
yeah, but just like the fact that Zabuza was hired by Gato, and then Gato looks at him, he's like, "You're nothing to me. You're just a hired mercenary. Like you're not. Your life is nothing, and that fool died for you for nothing."
Hmm.
And just the rage you see in his eyes, the demon that comes out, which again is the demon of the hidden mist. Like that's the first. So we're to the point of the first episode I ever saw. So I saw that part, and it didn't scare me, but it made me so interested in the show. I knew I had to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gets that kunai from Kakashi and looks at Gato and he's like, "We're not going where Haku's going. We're going to hell."
Yup.
Like Haku was a good person. He just was doing what he felt was right. We did the bidding
Mhm.
of others, so you're coming with me. And he just cuts down everybody in front of them. And it's,
Well, I mean, he cuts down a lot of people, and then he ends up going in and he ends up stabbing Gato.
and throwing him
and
off the
then-
bridge.
Yeah, which then all the criminals are like, well, hey, now we still need to get paid. You just killed our employer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about we hurt you guys and we'll go attack that town that's close by and we'll just start robbing people and we'll call it a day.
Which then in that
Well, then-
moment, like one of the most heartwarming things of this entire arc is seeing Inari and the entire village show up out of
Right.
the mist. Like as soon as that mist dissipates and you see them, that is just one of the greatest like parts of that, because you see them all come together under Inari, like realizing that they can fight their own battles. They don't need somebody else to do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you see all of the thugs and just like drop their weapons and run off like a bunch of scaredy cats. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you wouldn't expect an entire village to show up out of nowhere and just defend themselves. Like they've been torturing these people for so long that they probably don't believe that they're gonna fight back against them because they're the stronger people.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something. The Zab is a demon of the hidden mist, or a demon of the mist. Did they? I can't remember completely. Did they explain why he got that name?
That's because he can create he has the hidden mist jutsu.
Mm-hmm. He essentially can create the
Right.
water.
He's
clones
he's also one of the seven swordsmen. All the seven swordsmen have their own unique nickname.
Right, but didn't he also kill his entire?
Yeah, he killed his entire class. He was the sole survivor.
Yeah, his entire
Mhm.
class. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is why he got.
Yeah,
his
that's the
nickname.
way you graduate from ninja school.
Then
Then
Yeah.
then he was like one
Which
of the
that-
last
there's-
generations to do that.
there's so much stuff behind that you don't find out until way later, like ship it in later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's how deep, like, not to say this is like as deep as like One Piece is, but this show runs pretty deep.
Like you see
I
a lot
just-
of characters early on that come back later and you find out a lot more about them.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
That's what I like
Zabuza
about it.
is, to me, is one of the best protagonist villains in this show, who like you learn to respect. Like you don't like the man entirely, but you respect him.
Mhm.
Where you get later on into it, and what's Orochimaru's right hand man, Kabuto?
Kabuto?
Yeah,
Kabuto.
like Kabuto's just I don't know. Kabuto, to me, I hate him. And he's one of those villains you're meant to hate, but Zabuza you end up
Mhm.
respecting in the end of it, especially when you find out more of what he went through and why he is the way he is.
I like the way that the story's written that way. Like he leaves it all open ended, so he can always come back and
Mhm.
fill in the blanks whenever they really need to be filled in. Because like we technically don't need a Zabuza backstory, because then it wastes more time, and then you get all. Like, it's just something that doesn't need to be said now. It actually probably serves more of an impact later on in the story than it does in the current moment.
So
Right.
looking at Zabuza's page here as well online, he was 26 when he died.
It's pretty young.
Like
Isn't it like the average age for a shinobi right around there? Like that's how long they live.
I think yeah, it's like mid 20s, like maybe early 40s, because Kakashi's not much older than that, if I remember right.
I don't think so.
Because I think he wasn't that much older than Itachi whenever Itachi was in the Anbu.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. 'Cause he was also
Kakashi
in there.
Kakashi in part 1 of Naruto, which is where we're at, he is 26 to 27.
Yeah.
So he's
So
my
about
age.
Same as Zabuza. Yeah.
Like that's like thinking about that. That's so strange to think about now. Is like
Different world, man.
I
that makes
know.
sense because all that Nine Tail stuff that happened was whenever Itachi was just like 4 years old, and he was a leader of,
And
of
Kakashi
a
was,
squad.
yeah,
He was helping out the
Captain
village. Yeah.
Hanbu.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, in the end, like this arc ends really, really well. Because after everything happened and all of Gato's men like stab Demon of the Mist, Zabuza, wow, in the back, you see like Kakashi and them give Zabuza his final moments, like spending it with Haku, even though Haku's already gone. Like they give him that respect of like, you just kicked our butts, but we're gonna give you that ending that you deserve, and like move on from there. And it's just very good to see that first arc end in a way that it did. Like it's very violent, but it's very heartwarming in the end, which I feel you get that from some anime, but not a lot after like so much happened in such a short time.
Yeah, a lot of people I know consider Land of Waves arc to be the best Naruto arc period, including Shippuden.
And I agree with that statement to a point, but I believe that there's a lot of really good arcs.
Story-wise, it probably is. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the Pain arc, but
that's a really good one too. But
there aren't many animes that have a run like that, 5 out of 5 arcs in a row. What is it?
Yeah,
right.
The two brothers, then Jiraiya, then Pain, then the 5 Kage-sama, back to back to back to back.
So good.
Yeah. So any final thoughts here before we end out this episode of the cast?
Split up these arcs into a 2-part episode.
That's what I'm feeling. I think we've covered this one well enough for the time we have, and I think we'll revisit the tuning exams on another day, because I feel that's going to be a really good talking point with Orochimaru and Kabuto and meeting some of the others as well.
Because you got to think.
Well, you know, that's also a 3-part exam.
Exactly.
Yeah. All so that would be probably more than what we covered here, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel we could clear the first 2 parts of that maybe in an episode and start the other part, but we'll get there. But
yeah, we'll get there.
Anyways, so
thanks for joining us again, and as always, remember to like, subscribe, comment, let us know your thoughts.
Bye.
See you later.